It is Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. I'm still wearing my flight equipment here in order to record this crossword. I hope the audio has been all right for these videos. And anyway, it's a Wednesday puzzle today, so perhaps a little bit of a step up in difficulty. And this perhaps slightly more challenging edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Victoria Rojishka, Kathleen Quinn, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shulmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for bringing us this edition of the Daily Solve and for directly supporting this channel. I do very much appreciate it. If you'd like to join their ranks as benefactors and get access to the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve or in the link in the description field underneath the video. And of course, thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level. I do really very much appreciate it. It's hugely helpful to me, and thank you. And you can join the ranks of those generous patrons yourself at the link in the description field, and by doing so, you'll get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And I just find wearing this headset, I find completely disorienting because I can barely hear what I'm saying, and so it makes me feel as though I have no idea how to gauge the volume of my voice or the pace of my speech or anything. It's very surreal and strange. Anyway, I hope it sounds all right on your end. And now, why don't we solve this puzzle? It is a Wednesday puzzle, of course. It was constructed by Karen Laurie, who is not quite a debut constructor. This is her second crossword for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving. I'm not quite as tired as I was for yesterday's puzzle, but I'll say I'm still a little bit out of sorts, so we'll see how this goes. One across, quite the bargain. It's a steal, perhaps. A good deal. Texting format in brief, SMS, which I think stands for Simple Message System, something to that effect. And iced tea is a common drink, so there we go. First in line. Now we have the question mark here, which indicates a bit of punnery or wordplay going on, and I think in this case what it means is the first letter of the word line, so literally the letter L, which we can phonetically spell E-L-L. I'm pretty sure that's all that's going on there. And reunion attendees could be alumni, so former attendees of a particular school, one of whom would be an alumnus or an alumna. And relaxed as a vibe could be a mellow vibe, you could say. And a tall, slender hound. Oh, a Saluki. I'm well acquainted with a particular Saluki. Sort of like a greyhound or a whippet, that sort of general shape of dog, running dog. Here we have Asgard trickster, so the Norse god Loki, the trickster god. And Goose vis-a-vis Maverick in Top Gun, famously Maverick's wingman, who he could be anytime. I actually only saw Top Gun for the first time a couple of months ago, which probably isn't a huge surprise to longtime viewers of this series who might be aware that I sometimes am woefully out of touch with certain pop culture references, and Top Gun was something I was completely, I was sort of broadly familiar with it in a cultural sense, but only saw it for the first time relatively recently. Anyway, drink from a spring. Mineral water, I suppose. And here we have place for a stud. So it could be a stud sort of architecturally, so it could be a stud in your walls. It could be a stud like cattle, for breeding cattle, maybe. What else would this be? An ear. An earlobe. It could be a stud earring. That's probably the most common, one of the more commonly used versions of this. I don't know why it took me time to come to that. I think because joist maybe was in the puzzle the other day, so I was thinking of studs. I don't know. The architectural meaning, I mean. Blank space could be simply a gap that's fairly straightforward. And high-minded guides. High-minded guides. I'm wondering if this... Sherpas, there we go. Yes, so I was wondering if it had something to do with mountaineering, something that you would climb high, and indeed it does. So Sherpas associated with, Mount Everest and other sort of Himalayan climbing scenarios. So a glow could be an aura. A person could emit a particular aura, perhaps, or a light, or something else. Wilts could be sags. Just a straightforward synonym there. And damage, hurt, another fairly straightforward synonym. Let's check the crosses, though. Distinctive BMW feature. BMWs, I suppose, have distinctive grills, right? Yeah, BMWs have that sort of bifurcated grill, the two sort of rounded off grills. I suppose many car makes have distinctive grills. And some slow-cooked meals could be stews. So what was this? New York Canal, the Erie Canal, famously a canal in New York, so that looks right. And nail polish layer. Nail polish layer. A coat? Is it as simple as that? Or is there something more specific to nail polish? I mean, a coat of many sorts of paint or coloring is pretty fairly straightforward, so that might be the answer. Baby aardvark. Oh, I don't know. Do aardvarks have cubs? I'm not sure. I don't think I know that offhand. Let's keep looking. Mined find. So you could mine for ore and find a seam of ore. And mature. So mature could be an adjective, but it could also be a verb. To mature is to age. So that's, I think, what's going on here. And a hankering for a particular thing could be an urge for it, so that looks right. And lead into bottle or batter, right? Beer bottle or beer batter. So then, indeed, aardvarks do have cubs, apparently. So that's new knowledge to me. I hope to retain it. Aardvark cubs. That makes sense. You said it. Amen could be a way to emphasize a statement made by somebody else. And Shaq's alma mater. So this would be Shaquille O'Neal, of course, the renowned basketball player. So it must be LSU, I suppose, Louisiana State University. And a sneak attack is an ambush. Insultingly small. Insultingly small. So I suppose what that means is this is what you would call something if it were presented to you and you expected something more sizable. So minute could mean small, but that doesn't really seem insultingly small to me. It seems just technically small. Insultingly small. I don't know. I'm not really seeing what that is. Let's keep looking. Approach gradually. Ease up, maybe? Or I'm thinking of the phrase ease up to, approach it gradually. I don't really think that quite works. Let's look at this across. Steakhouse option. Medium rare, perhaps. So this is presumably a theme answer. Was mineral water? Yes, mineral water was also a theme answer. Is it compound phrases in which the first word starts with M? That seems very, very broad, so I don't think that could possibly be the full. I mean, these are both things you consume. We have a drink and a food item, so maybe that's related. I don't know. Let's keep looking. It may be checked at check-in. A bag could be checked at the airport. And insultingly small, meager. There we go. You could say that's a meager serving of food, for instance. So approach gradually. Oh, edge up to. I think that's what I was thinking of. I think when I said ease up to, I think what I was thinking of was edge up to. That sounds much. I mean, I think you could say ease up to something, but edge is much better. Curved lines on sheet music. What on earth? I did something wrong. Meager is perhaps incorrectly. Oh, what about this? No, yeah, meager is incorrect. This isn't working. Not let go to waste. You use something. Oh, measly. There we go. Measly, yes. It's insultingly small. I think measly is actually even better than meager in terms of the insulting part. You could say this is all you gave me, this measly serving. That looks completely right to me. I think that's better. So curved lines on sheet music could be slurs. Right, there we go. That makes sense. So a slur is a sort of arc that would join two different notes on a staff of sheet music, and it would indicate slur them together, kind of run the notes together as opposed to playing them very distinctly from one another. Promotional buzz could be hype around an upcoming release of, I don't know, music or a film or something. And if something is not made up, it's real. It exists. Sci-fi conveyances are UFOs, right. Okay, there. I was trying to think of something. I don't know what I was trying to think of. I think I was probably trying to think of something from maybe a particular sci-fi film or series or something like that. But no, it's just in a general sense, unidentified flying objects. And then here we have singer who funded Central Park's Strawberry Fields Memorial, Yoko Ono, one of the official singers of the New York Times crossword, along with maybe Enya. I would say Enya is absolutely rising in the ranks of New York Times crossword approved singers, along with Yoko Ono. And not so is false, straightforwardly enough. Crowns and scepters collectively. They're regalia. Actually, that's probably the answer. So they're symbols of royalty. They're items associated with monarchy. So regalia. They're regal items. Best-selling video game series beginning in 1997 for sure. What is this? GTA, Grand Theft Auto. The original Grand Theft Auto must have released in 1997, which sounds about right. I would have guessed roughly in that time period. Of course, the series became much better known with the third entry, Grand Theft Auto 3, which I think a lot of people think of as sort of the first one, even though it has a 3 in its title. Muscle is brawn. Brawn often contrasted to brains. And Grammy-winning Amy, the great Amy Mann, who I've seen perform live and is excellent, an excellent singer-songwriter. Morning on the Seine painter, was it Monet? Is there any chance it's Monet, the very, very similarly named painter? No, it looks like it is indeed Monet, because here we have a basic camera setting of automatic setting, if you're not going to adjust the aperture or ISO or any of those things. And here we have soaking spots are tubs, bathtubs, or hot tubs, I suppose, or whatever else. And if something is merely implied, it might be unsaid. You don't say it, you merely imply it. A ladybug, for one, is a beetle, I suppose? Is that true? I guess it must be. It seems like it is in the puzzle. Tuffins. I don't know. I'm not getting it. Get it? See? And had for lunch. If you had something for lunch, you ate it. That's straightforward enough. Queasy, perhaps. Oh, maybe we'll break with our seeming food theme that maybe was no theme at all. I wonder if it'll start with M, though. Is that just a coincidence? It probably ends with an H. Or sorry, I don't know why I said H. Oh, no, never mind. I thought I had an idea about how it ended, but I don't think I do. Queasy, perhaps. Ends with an... I don't know, actually. What is this? And what is this? Tuffins. Steals. Right, you steal yourself. You toughen yourself up. There we go. So, queasy, perhaps. I'm still not seeing this. Feeling ill. Okay. Okay, I have no idea what the theme is, so I'm going to be made to look like a fool when the revealer explains what it is, and I realize I should have been able to infer it, but I just don't see what connects mineral water, medium rare, and feeling ill. Feeling ill. I don't know. I really wish I could see what it is, but I don't. Played with as a mustache. You twirled your mustache, perhaps. And sports scores are... I don't know. What about this? Dear one, dear sir, you might say. You might address a letter, an official letter, dear sir. Sports scores are... I don't know. How blackjack cards are dealt. They're dealt face up. That looks right. Yeah, that sounds right to me. And sense of orientation is... I don't know. What about this? Fruity drinks are aids, as in lemonade, limeade, that sort of thing. Got it. Aha, you might say. It's not how I feel about the theme right now. Much to my chagrin. And what is this? Sports scores. Oh, right. I don't know what that is. Sense of orientation. Production company, that's its founder's name spelled backward. I suspect this is Harpo, which is Oprah Winfrey's production company. Oprah's name spelled backwards. And what do we have from the crosses here? If you choose something, you opt for it. So chooses opts. And defer a decision informally. Put it off, you punt. You punt, they say. Yes. It winds up on a fishing boat. Okay, so you could almost put a question mark at the end of this. It literally winds up on a fishing boat. It is a reel. You reel the line in. Oh, sports scores are results. Okay, that's more straightforward than I was making it out to be. Oh, and here's our revealer, of course. Nitpicker's lead-in, or a response to 20, 28, and 49 across if they were posed as questions. It looks like well, actually, to me. Which is the response of a pedant, a nitpicker's lead-in. So, mineral water. Is there something about these that is technically incorrect? I mean, is there? I don't know enough about how mineral water is defined to know if there's something inaccurate about the phrase mineral water or medium rare. I suppose medium rare is in some senses, you could argue, perhaps grammatically inaccurate, because oh no, I see. This is much more clever than that. Sorry. Okay, I was going to come up with just an unbelievably pedantic reason why you could claim medium rare is perhaps an inaccurately phrased way to describe how you'd like your meat cooked. But no, it's not that. It's that it's much more clever than that. If someone asks, would you like mineral water? You could say, well, actually, I'd like water from the well, actually. Medium rare. No, I'd like my steak done well, actually. Or are you feeling ill? No, I'm feeling well, actually. Much better than what I was trying to sort of arrive at in a tortured manner. I feel less bad about not being able to identify what connects mineral water, medium rare, and feeling ill. Although, I will say, if you're solving this crossword and you managed to, if it occurred to you that there's an alternative version of each of these three things that includes the word well, then well done to you, because that absolutely did not come to mind for me. Anyway, so let's finish off the puzzle. 1 of 6 in this clue. I don't know offhand. 1 of 6 in this clue. I'm not sure. Reason to cram is an exam, perhaps. You have a test coming up. And a wildcat with tufted ears is a lynx. So the first musician to have his first 5 albums debut at number 1. Wow. DMX, I guess? That is extraordinary. 5 albums. Threw one's hat, first anyway, that's especially impressive. Threw one's hat in the ring as you ran for elective office, for instance. And big name and acne medication, oxy something. And then 1 of 6. Oh, in this clue. Sorry, I read this clue completely incorrectly. For some reason, I read it as 1 of 6 in this puzzle. I don't know if I can't remember if I said aloud puzzle or clue, but in my mind, I was thinking puzzle for some reason. Anyway, 6 words in this clue. That was more straightforward than I was making it. And entice someone is to lure them. Here we have a sense of orientation. Oh, so when I first saw this clue, I don't think I really noticed the question mark there, which I've noticed has been happening to me recently for some reason. I've not really been noticing the question marks. I need to be more attentive. Anyway, this is referring to a sense, in other words, an intuition around the sexual orientation of others. So gaydar, the sort of colloquial term indicating the ability to infer someone's sexual orientation. And then welty with a Pulitzer. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Udis? I don't think I know this name. Trunk drawer, right. Yes, the sort of miscellaneous drawer, the junk drawer. I guess stereotypically often located in the kitchen. To construct a building, for instance, is to erect it, and to carry a balance is to owe money. A button on a remote control could be the record button, I suppose. Probably less common these days in a sort of post-VCR era, but it probably still exists for, I don't know, DVR-style recording and that sort of thing. And then a coffee table book subject. Often coffee table books are sort of big art books, so that must be the answer. Oh, Eudora. Okay. I do recognize that name, but I don't think I know Eudora Welty. So someone will probably tell me in a comment, and I will know it by tomorrow. And that's it. Ooh. Oof. I don't know why that's so loud. I thought I turned it down, and that just blared into my ears. I have no idea if that is coming through on the videos. Anyway. Let's admire the puzzle. So, we had our 3 theme answers here. We had our mineral water, our medium rare, and our feeling ill. All of which could be, if posed as questions, in other words, do you want these things or are you feeling this way, could be responded to with, well, actually. A very clever theme that completely eluded me during the solving, but I very much appreciate it in retrospect. So well done to Karen Laurie for sort of, I guess, almost discovering that sometimes themes feel like constructions, and sometimes they almost feel like discoveries to me. And I would say this one feels like a discovery. She's found these 3 phrases that share this incredibly silly and frivolous property, but of course, we're solving crosswords here, so frivolity is no particular object. And well done for locating this strange little linguistic curiosity. And I thought a very smooth solving puzzle. Other than that, and I think, if anything, I found it similarly smooth solving to yesterday's puzzle, although that may have to do with my mental state at the time I was solving yesterday's puzzle. So perhaps that is perhaps the reason for that kind of perceived relative difficulty for me from Tuesday to Wednesday. Anyway, a nice puzzle. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. Do let me know how you fared. I'm always interested to hear. And now, before we wrap up the video, let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. The plebiscide observes, Chris, I think you may have confused the adze, A-D-Z-E, with the awl, A-W-L, which is a leatherworking tool for making holes. An adze is a bladed tool used for shaping or cutting wood, similar to an axe, but with a horizontal blade rather than a vertical one. Yes, you are completely correct. I did, in my fatigued stupor, I did for some reason confuse the adze with the awl, and I have no defense or explanation other than I was very tired. So you observed correctly, and thank you. Elon Eton points out, I think it's worth mentioning that David didn't use a slingshot, as that needs something elastic. In the story of David and Goliath, David used a sling, which doesn't look like the Y shape in the grid. The positioning of David and Goliath, David just below the slingshot and Goliath just above the rock, is fun. And yes, you're correct. This is something that I was aware of despite my fatigue. I think I did make a reference to a slingshot at some point. I can't remember the context exactly. I think it was because the puzzle appeared to depict a slingshot rather than a sling being essentially just a sort of, I guess traditionally leather, presumably it would have been, essentially just a way to generate momentum to sling a stone or whatever missile it was throwing. But I think probably often David is portrayed with a slingshot, I suppose, because it's kind of easier to depict in a very iconographic way, as it was in yesterday's puzzle. So anyway, thank you, Elon Eton, for pointing that out. Oh, actually, Elon also adds, on a totally different topic, the reason C faucets in Italy are hot is because it's short for caldo, hot in Italian, which is actually related to words like caldera, calid, cauldron, scald, and nonchalant. That is absolutely fascinating. I was aware of caldo and could have inferred, I suppose, things like caldera and cauldron and scald, but had no idea about nonchalant. That is absolutely fascinating. Thank you. And here's something on which I was completely, utterly incorrect. Ethan Altschul says, you're off base on the Big Ten, the United States University Athletic Conference, but not as badly as you would have been a few years ago. The Big Ten is centered in the Midwest. Its marquee teams include Michigan and Ohio State, among others. College football in the last year, though, has sort of developed into a free-for-all, where large market schools are challenging conferences for more money. The trend was kicked off by Oklahoma and Texas opting to leave the Big Ten for the SEC. UCLA and USC, the traditional powerhouses of the Pac-12, joined the Big Ten recently, as alluded to in the clue. Never mind that they're over 1,000 miles from the nearest Big Ten school. Right, so the Pac-12, which I knew at one point as the Pac-10, which I think is what I was thinking of by the Big Ten before it, I guess, enlarged and took on a couple other schools, is a West Coast conference that I guess is the one I was familiar with. And Clayton Deerberger says, Colorado and Utah joined the Pac in 2011. So if Chris went to Cal before then, the conference would have been the Pac-10 as well, which would add to the confusion. Yes, that's, I guess, what I basically just said. I should have read this comment first. But indeed, it was the Pac-10 at the time I was aware of it. And finally, Schulmaster, the indomitable Schulmaster, I must add, points out that LCD displays are now backlit via LEDs, as opposed to lamps, e.g. CCFL, like the very first flat screens requiring a warm-up period. The technologies do not mutually exclude. Plasma and OLED light is emitted on the pixel level, and there is no backlight of any kind in these cases. Thank you. That was a comment in reply to my fairly vague comment about it was just something about LCDs and LEDs, and I wasn't exactly certain about those relative television technologies. So thank you to the indomitable Schulmaster for that clarification. And that's all I had in terms of comments from yesterday's puzzle. So thank you to everybody who left comments. Apologies if I didn't get to yours. I'm recording these videos much earlier than I ordinarily do, just due to a time zone difference. So there's a shorter window of time in which there's actually the possibility for me to see the comments before recording these videos. So apologies to anyone who leaves informative comments later than I have a chance to see. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday crossword, of course, in which we will have some kind of more intricate theme, probably. And very, very I would say likely a trickier puzzle as well. I think we've gotten off a bit easy, perhaps, in the first few days of the week. That might change tomorrow. You'll have to come back and see. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.